Next up, Cleveland Browns at the Ravens. This one's kind of an interesting one. Ravens laying 6.5. This total 38.5. Prop stars. Talk to us about some props you like in this one.
Yeah, two props I like in this one, Katie. Starting with one of my favorite players, Mark Andrews, a guy that I have been backing pretty much all season long, getting an incredibly low number on him by and large part because of the strength of this Cleveland defense, but going over 45.5 receiving yards. If it's not for Travis Kelce, it's Mark Andrews having just the best season of any tight end in football, just a model of consistency. He's had at least 40 receiving yards in every single game this season. He's eclipsed this in 5 of his last 6, really coming on strong lately. His first read target rate is higher than any tight end in football besides Kelce. He has the best route participation of any tight end in the NFL, running a route on every single Lamar drop back. We've seen Lamar's completion percentage in this Todd Monken offense just skyrocket as well. So I have a lot of confidence, even in a tough matchup, that Mark Andrews will continue to function as the primary target for Lamar Jackson. So like him quite a bit to go over 45.5 receiving yards. And then a player kind of going in the opposite direction is arrow pointing down. I'm talking about Elijah Moore, under 33.5 receiving yards. This guy's failed to eclipse this in 4 of his last 5 games. Early on in the season, they were really trying to manufacture him touches, getting him a lot of volume, throwing him passes near the line of scrimmage, getting him involved with end arounds. It just really has not resulted in any sort of efficiency. It's been one of the least efficient starting wide receivers in the NFL. His target share is plummeting. We know Deshaun Watson is not 100% right now either. And then on top of that, it's just a very difficult matchup against arguably the best defense in the NFL right now. So I think it's a very good spot to fade Elijah Moore under 33.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I know RJ and I both have the Ravens as a best bet, which should make me feel good and RJ feel bad. But the Ravens have won 3 straight games against teams with a winning record by 24 plus points. I mentioned the stat earlier in the week, coming out of last week when they beat the crap out of the Seahawks. One of the teams they beat previously were those Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson starting, but the Browns also had Jedrick Wills in their offensive line. Like, they've had dealt with some serious injuries to that offensive line, and Deshaun Watson, like, the way that, I mean, give Mike McDonald credit, this Ravens pass rush is getting home. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a team that could generate a pass rush, and they're doing it. And I think the way Deshaun Watson plays, running around, holding the ball, trying to force something to happen, particularly if the Ravens could get a lead and start to run the ball effectively. Keaton Mitchell came in and had an enormous week. I was shocked. I got him in a ton of fantasy leagues. I was really surprised. I thought people would be more interested in grabbing him. He is an explosive runner. Watched him a lot at East Carolina. Terrified me when he played NC State. And I think adding him to the mix with Justice Hill and Gus Edwards gives you some really nice variety in how they can run and what they can do. This Todd Monken offense is working really well with Lamar. He's the MVP favorite, as we told you he would be a couple weeks ago. And RJ, I just think the Ravens take care of business here and force Deshaun Watson into a couple of turnovers that gives them very good field position.
Yeah, both these teams are off dominant wins, but one was against Seattle, who we think is a playoff team. The other was against Clayton Tune, who's a Roger Rabbit character. So you have to grade those a little bit differently. Cleveland's offense was not great in the win. I think look at the score and you figure, Deshaun Watson's back. They're humming along. 4.6 yards per play in that game. The run game's struggling. Now Jedrick Wills, like you said, out. Left tackle joins Conklin on the shelf. So that offensive line is way down from what we expect them to be coming into the season, which is always one of the top lines in the league. Baltimore defense, first in yards per play, first in yards per pass. They scored 28 on Cleveland's good defense in the first meeting, which, I know Cleveland's one of the best defenses in the league, but some weeks they don't play like it. Previous to that Arizona game, they gave up over 6 yards per play to their last 2 opponents. And this is a versatile offense that's tough to stop. So I don't know that they're just going to in and shut down Baltimore in this game. I have Cleveland rated at 0 right now, and my power rating's dead average, and I think that's pretty generous. And I would still make this line 7.5. So Baltimore minus 6.5, pretty easy call for me. We got it at 5.5 on Sportsline beginning of the week because we knew this line was going to shoot up. There's no way this should be less than 6, and I actually think it should be at least 7.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Monday early odds show as well. Is that what you were going to say, Prop?
I was just going to pat myself on the back a little bit, Katie. And so that was my selection for the anticipation game that we play on the Monday show.
Absolutely.
Somebody pump fake me on Cardinals Falcons and said it had already moved. I remember I saw it. I was like, ha ha ha! I got it. I looked. I was like, hadn't budged. What the hell?